Hello and welcome to Watchdog Wargaming. Right, I'm on a bit of a mission, and you out there can help me with this one. I want to save Wargaming, or in particular War games, from the bin. Before I go on, I'll tell you a bit of a story. On the weekend, I went down to our local town and took the wife down there. She went off to do her bit, and I've just sat in the car waiting for her. In front of me was a charity shop. And I could see that the occupants of the charity shop I think they were closing up for the day and they were taking all the rubbish out and everything else. And I noticed some bin bags being taken out. And normally, didn't take any notice of it at all. And sort of thinking, where's the wife? Where? And all of a sudden I noticed with my eagle eye, is that Warhammer? What's Warhammer doing going out in the bin? So, okay, got my glasses on. Yeah, it definitely says Warhammer. So, get out of the car, walk across the road, and by this time there's a little old lady kept dragging some stuff out and said, "Oh, do you need a hand with that?" So I gave her a hand, and I said, "I just noticed you've got lots of things down here, Warhammer. I can see it through the bag." I said, "What's happening to that stuff?" She said, "Oh, it's just getting thrown away." She said, "We just sell books. We don't do this." Oh, okay. I said, "Well, instead of actually going to waste, no, I will give you a donation for it, and I'll take it away." She went, "Oh, okay." Um, so I gave her a small donation, and I'll show you what I picked up in a second, and you'd be quite surprised what's in it. So I got in conversation with this little old lady, and there was another gentleman joined her as well, wondering what was going on. And I said, "Oh yeah, I collect all this stuff," and got into the conversation. I said, "Do you have any more?" And she went, "Oh well, I wish you'd came yesterday. We just threw away tons of other stuff with lots of little men in it." And I went, "Oh right, okay." So this has got me thinking. So all around the UK, all around Europe, all around the world, there's lots of different charity shops. And I think there probably the same things going on there in every town around the world, literally, is that lots of war games, figures, is getting thrown in the bin. Either, you know, people not knowing what it is. So I've got a plan, and we'll go on to that towards the end of this video. But what I'll do is I want to show you the contents of this bin bag that was just getting thrown away. Okay. I have I put a bit of a monetary value to it, and it's about, I don't know, about £250 worth of stuff that was just getting thrown away in the bin. A lot of it is probably stuff that I recognise when I first started wargaming, so you can probably tell the age of it, and it's quite collectible. So I'll let me just drag out the bag. Hopefully it won't rip as I just lift it up onto the table, but just bear with me a second, and I'll bring out the bag. So, welcome back. I've now dragged the bag up onto the desk, and unfortunately it did rip us slightly, so it's we'll go for it. Like I said, it was a red rubbish bag, red trash bag, if you're across the pond, and it's just got what it says: trade waste, no sharp objects on it. So, what I'll do is I'll quickly sort of open it up for you, so you can see what was there. The only thing that I've taken out from the top, it was a pile of old magazines were actually on the top of it, and nothing that was war gaming relatable. But it was you'll see these are the sort of things that are getting thrown out. So right, okay, so this is how I found it, and in fact all I've done is taken the rubbish up the back at the top of it. It's got that ambience of being an attic, It's so it's definitely it's old and it's got a bit of a whiff to it. So so what we've got on here, so we've got Judge Dredd, the role-playing game. Feels heavy, so there must be. Okay, so we've got what have we got in here? The manual, Game Master's book, and we've also got some record sheets. But it looks like again the previous person who's given this to the charity shop has played the game before. So I don't know if that's complete, but that's so we'll have a look at that later on. Got Warhammer Fantasy Battle, the rule in the box. So I think these are definitely early 80s. So was that if I remember rightly, there was the combat rules, there was the magic rules, and there was like the beastry as well. So that's the combat rules. Oh, the magic, battle magic, the beastry book, and oh, there's an amendment sheet already. Oh, how well we know them. And I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. So there's some cardboard characters. Magnificent Sven. Oh, that looks like some scenarios as well. Okay, some scenarios. So the first Warhammer Fantasy that came out was very much like an RPG, and sort of but then they sort of it turned into what we currently know as Warhammer Fantasy. Wow, okay. This is like Christmas. What's this? Battle Systems Fantasy Combat Supplement. Okay, that's one I've never heard of, but that's all there as well. I don't know if this was meant to be in a box or anything like that, but it's Battle System Fantasy Combat Supplement allows you to create fantastic armies on the field of battle. You command troops and heroes in a war against forces of darkness. It's like it's an element of D&D or Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So we'll have a look at or TSR. We'll have a look at that in later on. King Arthur Pendragon. This is quite a heavy one as well. Game of quest, romance, and adventure. Okay. What we've got in here. The Noble's Book. Oh, basically how to run your own fiefdom. Games Master Book. The Magic of Arthur's Britain. Dwarf, Elf, Giant, Kelpie, Unicorns. Oh, maps. Some paper. More maps. And whatever that is. Oh, Player's Book. Wow, okay. Just as I'm moving on this, you've got that smell of old paper. So it's what's this one? Warhammer Village Pack, Terror of the Leech Master. Warhammer by Citadel Miniatures. Again, if you know what era this one is, again, this is probably early 80s as well. A Warhammer mini campaign. Oh, lots of cutouts on there as well. So what's this? Is this the actual scenarios? Yep, it's the actual scenarios. And a lot of things that we recognise with the movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, actions, leadership, intelligence, CI and WP, willpower and cool. I don't know. And then we've got seems to be lots of cardboard cutouts of villages. Okay, I'll have a look at that in slow time, and there seems to be lots of I don't know what these are things are. Looks like boulders or. In fact, let me just see some at the bottom. What does it say? Tunnels and cavern walls. So that this is probably something that you cut out to actually make tunnels as you're moving along through the dungeons, like a dungeon crawler. Again, it's still got that little pong of oldness about it. Oh, what's this one? Advanced D&D game Realm of Terror by TSR Ravenloft box set. Oh, Dracula. What was that? Vampire? Again, this is all new to me. So Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition. Printed in the USA for TSR. Looks like some artwork. Whoops. Oh, more village, more maps and everything else. Doesn't seem to be any figures in here, but I'm not sure if there was ever was figures in them. Probably that's what the plastic cutouts, more maps and everything else. Whew, it's definitely got that. This has been up in an attic for some years. Okay, so some people might know what this is, so it's I might have to look that up later on. And what's the final one? The final one, Aerotech. Battletech game of fighter combat. Well, I've played Battletech before, but not Aerotech. So is this something? Oh, okay. Aerotech, the Battletech game of fighter combat. Okay, so that's the rule book of how to play it. Okay, what else is in here? Oh, there's Battletech sheets in here as well. Mech Warriors. Okay, so, yeah, so a lot of these seem to be already filled in by the previous player. So it's, again, I don't know if these are the missing bits, but yeah, so that's what we've got. So out of that red bag that was getting thrown in the skip, we've got Aerotech, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition Ravenloft box set, Reign of Terror, Terror of the Leechmaster, which is a Citadel Miniatures Warhammer Village box set. It's amazing, some amazing artwork on here. Pendragon Shiver. Okay, role playing in Arthur's Britain. It's good to be the king. Battle system, which is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons related or D&Ds. Warhammer. Fantasy battle rules that a lot of you may remember or recognise. And Judge Dredd, the role-playing game. Okay, so all that was getting thrown out in the skip and been binned. And like I said, the lady said that the day before they had thrown away lots of similar stuff with lots of little men in it. So God knows what else they threw out. So I've had a think, I've had a plan, and I've actually been back down to that charity shop. So I'll tell you what I did. And this actually may be able to be in your favor, that if you do exactly the same, you might have positive results. Because after what I did, I've been contacted by the shop to say something else has been handed in, and they're not going to throw it in the skip until I've gone and seen it. So right, so let me just switch over to the other camera. But that's what was in the bag, and that's going to give you some time to read through it and see what's missing and everything else. But that's going to keep me busy. Another distraction from painting the figures. Right, okay, so I'll be back in a second. Hi folks, back again. So yeah, so like I said, it's I've got a plan, and if you help us, we might be able to save lots of wargaming material that's been thrown away for no reason, and put it to good use. So what I've done is I wrote a list of things that I'm interested in, using the trade names for different companies, whether it was Warhammer, 40k, Bolt Action, Dungeons and Dragons, you name it. I made a list of things. One thing I found out is when I was talking to the people who seem to be, I'm not being ageist or anything like that, but people who work in in certain charity shops seem to be of the older generation, and they haven't come across this before, or if they do, then it's or if they just sell books or they sell clothes, they're not interested in this sort of thing. So what I've done is I've made a list of what I was actually interested in. I've given that list to the people that work behind the scenes to do all the sorting. So if anything comes in of that nature, then they put it to one side for me. But also what I've done as well is I've offered to price up things. So if there's things that I'm not interested in that I know that will sell, I will tell them what I think is the price and not go by what they seem to be doing, is going on eBay and stuff like that and looking at what technically is overinflated prices and then stick it in on a shelf and it doesn't sell and it's still there so for about weeks and months later. So it's a bit of a win-win. So they look for the stuff that I'm interested in, and it's not going to end up in a skip. And I give them what I would class as a war game, what is a reasonable price for something that they're going to put on the shelf. If everybody did that and approached their local charity shops and say, look, when these things come in, I'm happy to take it off your hands, advise you what to do with it, give you a cost and everything else. It has, like I said, it has come up with dividends, and hopefully this weekend I'll be popping down to the charity shop. I gave them my contact number and my email address and said, if anything comes in, don't bin it, let me know and let me have a look at it, see what it is. And they have, so I'll be going down there to see what it is. They were a bit cagey about what it was. I think it's because they didn't know what it was themselves, but it was one of the trademark brands that I was looking for. So so that's a bit of a top tip for me, is keep an eye out for little things like this in a charity shop. Make the list, approach your charity shop, have a chat with the shop manager and say, look, interested in these sort of things, anything that comes in, let me know. Happy to help out. Happy to advise you on a good, a reasonable price. They're happy to volunteer as well, because they're always looking for volunteers and get into their good books. So it's a bit of a win-win for everybody. I'll be interested to see who else does this, and if they do, and it works for them, I'll be interested to find out what they've managed to acquire. Whether it was something like for me, I was in the right place at the right time. But let's see what happens. I think it's a good idea. I hate things going into waste, especially if we can reuse or recycle them. So yeah, so over to you. So again, thank you for joining me. Something completely different from the norm, but I just thought I'd share what's happened today, happened over the weekend, and we'll move on from there. So you lot take care. Remember, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to like and subscribe below. I am going up in numbers, which is brilliant. So I never thought I'd get as far as this. So it's you lot take care, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.
Squad morale restored.